got loud. But the war over our children's freedoms is not over in our community, or yours either. Many of you have heard of several of education's three-letter acronyms: SEL, Social Emotional Learning, CRT, Critical Race Theory, and DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. The letters may be different, but the goals are the same: to indoctrinate our kids to comply with government demands.
That's right.
All at the expense of standard morals and basic educational advancement. And the pandemic of 2020 was used to scare and coerce us into compliance.
Yep.
Millions in taxpayer revenues have poured into our local schools, with at least 20% required to be spent on programs such as SEL. At VISD, SEL specialists have been hired at every campus to work as social justice advocates who shift the school culture to emphasize racism, gender ideology, and innocuous language such as, quote, welcoming and safe schools. And it is interwoven into the curriculum. School districts are also using surveys to data mine our children. Many school districts like VIC use a company called Panorama to survey and create psychological profiles or dashboards on our children. These surveys use leading questions to gain access to your child's attitudes, beliefs, and values on subjective issues such as race, biases, gender ideology, and identity issues. These surveys also stay with your child and by this point, through core academic achievement, is hope. But we all need to do our part. Here are some things you can do that can make a world of difference in your local community. Get involved. I can't stress that enough. Go to your and get to know your trustees. Speak out. Don't wait for others. If you feel heard, file grievances. Opt your child out activities. Everyone here, if you would, take out your phones. I'm going to give you those two to learn more. The website name is www. More about SEL and how to opt your child out of all surveys. We must cut off the data that feeds SEL. Know your rights and exercise them. Parents have the ultimate authority over their children. The government does not. If the school does not respect that, write your legislative representatives or be prepared to take them out and homeschool them. And if you're on Facebook, you can join our page at Freedom Over Fear Citizens Unite. I'd like to leave you with one of my favorite scriptures taken from Deuteronomy 31:8. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. God bless you all.
Yeah.
Way to go, Tracy!
Well, better late than never. We got our great sheriff with us here today, so I'm just going to let him say a few words if he was here. Thank you for coming.
That's it.
I'm currently serving as your sheriff. I just wanted to take just a couple of seconds. My wife and I are headed to Robstown. We're going to go see Trump down there and hopefully keep him motivated. So we're going to go say hi for all of y'all. So thank y'all everybody for coming today. The young lady was just talking about, guys, we've got a lot of real problems ahead of us. What's going on with our children is where it starts, right? And they don't know any better. They only know what they're being told and what they're being taught. And if our schools are telling these kids things that none of us believe in, that's a real problem for us. So get involved in your kids, know what these teachers are telling them, know what they're learning at church, because they're changing it every day, and it's little things. And whenever we see it, we know what the real Bible says, right? So we know that that doesn't what the Bible said, but you got to watch them, guys, because they're very creative, and they're putting this stuff out there for these kids, and the kids don't know any better.
Right.
So they read it, and they read it the way that they intend for them to read it, and so it's a real problem. So, guys, as we talked about at our little local sale, you know, we've got to reach these kids. We've got to get to them before they ever do bad things. And we've got to explain to them that there's consequences for things that you do. You know, you can't go through life, you know, always being protected by your parents. You've got to learn right and wrong. And there's just so many things with the world today, guys. We've got to get out and vote. As y'all well know, we've just got to get out and vote. Talked to Governor Abbott on Thursday about our border security, and it's a real problem. Guys, this fentanyl is coming across this border in huge quantities. I talked to Sheriff Hooper in Nueces County. He's already having occurrences where they're putting fentanyl on the letters that are coming into the jail, and he's having fatalities in his jail from people that are getting fentanyl on them. And it's that bad of a product. You can put it on paper, and whenever it gets in the jail, they touch the paper, they get high from it. That was the intent, send it so they could get high while they're in jail, and it's killing inmates in our jails today. And that's just one problem. I mean, and this stuff is coming across the border in copious quantities, guys, and it takes you can't hardly see how much it takes to knock you down, put you out. So that's one problem. You know, the folks that are coming across, as y'all all know, you know, our country's built on folks that have come over here and gone to work, right? Those are the folks that are out there pouring our concrete today. They're out there, you know, doing our electrical work. But the folks that are coming across here right now, they don't have those same intentions. They're not coming over here to do good things to go to work. They're coming over here to get free things, you know, and do bad things to us, you know. And another real problem is the cartels that they're using to get them over here. When they get here, these cartels are charging them fees to bring them across. They then take them to Houston. And if they make it to Houston, now they're indebted to that cartel for the rest of their life. So whether it's drug trafficking, sex trafficking, you know, it just goes on and on. So those folks are being taken advantage of, the ones that are trying to just get over here. So, like I said, nobody talks about that. That doesn't hit our news. You know, nobody talks about all of the things that happen to those people when they get across the border. So, lots of real problems that face us today. Guys, I really appreciate what y'all are doing. I hope y'all have a great day today. Have a lot of fun. Appreciate everybody coming to Gonzales. Those of y'all that aren't from around here, it's a great little town. We enjoy it. And you know, the come and take it, we're proud of that. I'm being told, I saw John Cyrier out at the airport a while ago. He said Trump signed 2 come and take it flags that he knows of. Well, there's one more in that red pickup up there, and I'm going to see him get him to sign the 3rd. If I do, it'll come back to y'all's jail, and it'll be hanging in that jail. Y'all come see it. Thanks, everybody. Y'all be safe.
All right. Next up, I'm going to invite my good friend Jackie Klein up here. She's another Mama Bear parental rights activist. She's going to say a few words to you guys. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I know that we are running up to midterm elections. Everybody's been working hard for their candidates, and we're hoping for big victories on November 8th. And I see my friend Tim Morrow is here, State of Education. He is our candidate for the State Board of Education in District 3. He's going to need your vote when you go to the polls. But today I want to talk to you about the importance of school board and running for your local school boards. I ran in San Antonio, Northeast ISD. I was on the ballot in May, and people asked me what the hardest part about campaigning was, or about, you know, where the most difficult decision was for me, and that was actually in just deciding to run in the first place. Because the way that I was raised, once you put your hand to the plow, you don't look back. And once I declared that candidacy, I was in that race. And so for anybody who's thinking about doing that, I just suggest you think about a couple of things. You have volunteers. You have people who will walk for you, and you can talk to your friends, you can send postcards, you can go to meetings. And do you have people who will donate to your campaign? Because the campaign that I was in got expensive in real short order.
The previous campaign that had been run when that seat had been challenged 2 election cycles ago, the total expenditures were $75. In my campaign, we ended up spending somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000 between mailers, between phone calls, between all of the expenses, signs, shirts, everything that goes into running a campaign. And it should be kind of frightening that those kind of monies are going into school board races, because it means there's a lot of outside interest that is pulling at these schools. In part of my candidate training, there's some excellent resources out there. There's a grassroots group called Freedom Works. They have a BEST program. They have a wonderful candidate training program. It's 6 weeks long. They tell you how to write a speech, how to do your finances, how to run a campaign. I was fortunate enough to fall in with a group called Parents United for Freedom. They are about 300 strong, and they organized in response to the mask mandates that had been pushed down on the schools during COVID, and they wanted to source good candidates to take over these school boards. Now, they really encouraged me, and it was great to have that support the whole way through. I unfortunately fell 70 votes short of the incumbent, but they did get the other 2 candidates that I ran on a soft slate with across the finish line. And we wish we had flipped that board, but now we have more voices. A lot of people don't know who their school board trustees are, and they spend 60% of your property taxes, and they set your tax rates. These people are playing around with a lot of your money. And in a lot of these situations, you've got a superintendent and a top-heavy administrative staff that is calling the shots and telling your school board trustees what to do in the name of business and making money, because your child is nothing but a dollar figure walking around in those hallways, and there's more where they came from. And then stay on your elected officials, whether you can get somebody on a board or you have maybe a trustee who's not working in your best interest. Get on the SHAC. It's the Student Health Advisory Committee. Nobody knows it exists. They set your sex ed curriculum, and they pick your textbooks. And then, get into your kids' libraries. See what's on those shelves. Okay. So I still have stayed involved. I attended the Texas Association of School Boards conference a couple of weeks ago. I listened for 2.5 hours while 4 attorneys and people from the ACLU taught these school board members how to teach CRT in violation of SB 3. And I have a recording where she says, "Is this CRT? Yes." Is that what we're going to tell parents? No. We're going to point back to the very specific language of this law. So, once you get your members on there, keep showing up, keep supporting them, do what you can, and I have information on Parents United for Freedom. You can find me when we're done. Yeah, Jackie came all the way from the Bear County area on the northwest side, right, Jack? Mm-hmm. Northeast side. Okay. The sheriff mentioned earlier, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but we have a crisis at our southern border. Well, it depends on who you believe, because according to our Vice President, Kamala Harris, there is no problem at the southern border. Our southern border is secure, and if you believe that, come talk to me later, because I've got some oceanfront property in Arizona that I want to show you. But anyway, so next up is my good dear friend. She has an organization called Alliance for Safe Texas and Secure the Border, and her name is Sheena Rodriguez. She is a boots-on-the-ground activist, raising awareness about what's really going on at the southern border, but not just bringing the stories and reporting the issues. She also has a plan for a solution, because what good is it to talk about a problem if you don't offer a solution? So I'm going to let Sheena come on up here and say a few words. I am Sheena Rodriguez. I am the president and founder of our 501c4 Alliance for Safe Texas. Our main goal, when I wasn't down there somewhere along the border, and I just dragged Maria along with me in Yuma, we go down there, I see what's happening all over the great state of Texas, from the RGD all the way up to El Paso, everywhere in between. And whenever we're not down there at the border, I'm out in our state capitol fighting, because there is a lot. It's not acceptable for our state legislators and our elected officials to say that it's a federal issue, when we, Texans, are the ones who are paying the price. It's not acceptable to our children that are dying from a fentanyl overdose. It's not acceptable to the women and the children who are raped and sold into sex trafficking. It's just not acceptable to a 73-year-old whose house was broken into in Eagle Pass and she was raped by 3 illegals. That's just not an acceptable answer. So we go out in search of things that we can do on the city, county, and state level. Specifically on the county level, there's a lot that can actually be done, especially putting, and influencing your sheriffs and your county officials, but also becoming a watchdog in your city. And where I live in North Texas in DFW, we had the Denton City Council that had passed last year to allow for non-citizens to run for office. We have sanctuary city type policies throughout the state of Texas. These are issues that impact every single one of our 254 counties in the great state of Texas in some way, shape, or form. And it's past time. We are where we are because of the failures of both parties. It is past time that we stand up and say enough is enough. This is an existential threat to your families, to your children, to your homes. And if we do not stand up and say no more to the exploitation of human beings and to the rape and the murder and the savagery that is happening throughout our great state and great country, we won't have a country left to defend. So we need to stand up. There are things that can be done. Visit securetheborder.us, securetheborder.us. You can also follow my personal pages on Facebook, Twitter, Getter, and our Alliance for a Safe Texas and Secure the Border pages. Everything's on the website, securetheborder.us, including the action items that right now we have been one of the groups that has been on the forefront of trying to get this declared as the act of invasion that it is. Because I'm telling you, when you're down there and you see it for yourself like I have, nobody can tell me any different. So, securetheborder.us, securetheborder.us. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Tia. So to follow up on that, I'm going to invite, next up, I'm going to invite our good friend, El Conservador. George Rodriguez. He almost doesn't even know. This part of the state knows who he is. But, so yeah, George Rodriguez. Thank you.
Hi, folks. Thank you very, very much for the invitation here. Let me add to what Tina has said. Because one of the things that we need to understand, my friends, is that the first phase of the border crisis is all those people coming across. We have seen it and seen it and seen it. We see it on a daily basis. Fox News is down there, everybody's down there, watching all these people come across. However, there's a second phase, and the sheriff talked a little bit about that. The second phase, my friends, of the border crisis is the issue, my friends, of what is going to happen to our neighborhoods, to our states, to our counties, to our cities, is what is going to happen with all these millions of people that are coming across. Let me tell you, first of all, that it's not about race. One of the first things that always happens is that, oh, you're racist because you want a border. No, I am an American of Mexican descent. Some of you are Americans of Czech, some of you are Americans of German, some of you are Americans of Italian. Okay? The fact of the matter is that we are Americans. A nation that has no borders ceases.
Right.
Now, the other fact that we need to understand is the word illegal. And for some reason, Democrats don't seem to understand the word illegal. We have a district attorney in San Antonio that was funded by George Soros, who doesn't understand the word illegal. I wonder if he understands the word vendetta. I don't know. But there is such a thing as illegal immigration, and it's going to impact on us. Let me tell you the way that it's impacting, or it's going to impact on us in the second phase. Education. These kids, these thousands, these millions of kids are going to end up in our school district. Okay? And they don't speak Spanish, or English rather. They're going to need special ed. They're going to need special teachers. That's a cost. That's going to be a burden on the taxpayer. There's already a shortage of teachers. the social services issues. They're going to need welfare systems. They're going to need health benefits. They're going to have an economic impact too. One of the things that people don't understand about the American of Mexican descent community in South Texas and why it's becoming Republican is because our grandparents and parents had to compete for jobs with the illegal mojados that used to come across the border and work, cheap, undercutting the economy. The economic impact is going to be felt on the poor people, not to mention on the rest of us. Then there's the issue of the law enforcement, my friend. We already have a situation where the police and law enforcement are disliked, disrespected. Now we're going to have people that are going to be protected even more, only because they are what's the point, my friends? Let me ask you this question. What's the point of being a citizen, a lawful legal citizen, if an illegal alien gets the same rights? What's the point? What's the point? Then, of course, there's the liberal media that doesn't talk about this. The sheriff just talked about the issue of the fentanyl. When have you heard NBC, ABC, or CBS talk about that?
That's right.
Never.
When have you heard them say anything about the fentanyl problem or the deaths?
Never.
The issue, my friends, the final issue that I want to bring up to you is your tax money. All of these things that I've mentioned, education, welfare, law enforcement, all of that is going to impact on you. These folks, my friends, have not paid a dime, a penny into the system, yet they're taking out. Where's Jackie? Jackie, I took Jackie and another lady to see the Migrant Center in San Antonio, funded by you. And Jackie and the rest of us sitting there. I'm doing an interview. I'm interviewing a illegal alien, and Jackie is standing there. Right behind us was a drug deal going down with an illegal alien. They learned quick. In broad daylight, right there. We also talked about a homeless family that had been homeless for 10 days. Because the Biden administration, they don't really care. They don't really care. All they want is chaos. And they are creating it with an open door. Let me tell you, again, let me emphasize, this is my country.
Amen.
This is my land. And I want it protected. It's not that I'm anti-immigrant. I want immigrants, but I want them to enter legally.
Yes.
And I want them to be a benefit to our society. What is wrong with that?
Nothing.
I don't want them to be a burden to us. What is wrong with that? We have too many problems. Why are we reporting more? I conclude, my friends, that God blessed America.
Amen.
But we have people now that want to do the opposite, that are cursing it, that don't like it, that are in opposition to America. And we have to fight that. This issue of this election is critical because it is about local politics. The defense of freedom and liberty, my friend, starts at the local level.
That's right.
That's how the Constitution was written, at the local level. And we have got to get our friends, our neighbors, our family to the polls. Because I don't know if you noticed, the other side, sometimes dead people vote.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. So we've got to get on. Thank you very, very much. I want to thank for inviting me to speak today. I have a book that I'm going to be and folks, if you are interested in the contract at my radio station, and I'm looking for other radio stations that we can have a program on. I'm going to be looking in this direction as well. Thank you very, very much. God bless America.
Good job.
Nothing but facts there, guys.
Go,
Nothing
George.
but facts.
Go,
All
George.
right, so our next speaker, some of you have probably seen him on Fox News or Max as a contributor. Victor, what other programs have you appeared on nationally? Several. Anyway, he's got a book out called Agent Under Fire. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, if you've read it, heard about it. But I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'm going to let him come up here and say a few words. Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Avila.
Woo, Victor!
I was ready for 30 minutes. Thank you, Maria, for inviting me. I'm here also on behalf of the American Project. My name is Victor Avila. I'm a retired ICE special agent. Now, all of you know my story. If you don't, this is personal to me. The protection of our country, the protection of our borders, the protection of our sovereignty is more than what you see for me. Because what's happening in Mexico, what's happening in our border is affecting us, as you've heard from our speakers. It's impacting us in our communities in the whole country. I partnered was killed by the cartels. I was killed by them back in 2011. So my cause and my survivors get to do this is to do something about it, and it has been. And I know lately we've been concentrating a lot about the illegal immigration. And you see the bodies coming over, and I go to I come back from the Western County, very well aware of what's going on. But I have, and I'll put it to you this way. I'm going to say it to you in the style of Joe Biden. I have two words for you: law and order. That's what I bring. That's what I'm concerned with. I'm concerned with national security and public safety. If you are not safe in your community, anywhere you live in this country, then everything else kind of goes out the window. People in Del Rio no longer allow their children to ride their bikes to the bus station from school. Why? Because there's a group of people from I don't know where hanging around there. It's changed their daily lives. And this is what's happening in our country every day. And like Sheena and George said, we're talking about New York, we're talking about Wisconsin, we're talking about every part of our country. Let's focus a little bit on national security and public safety. The numbers just came out. By the way, CPP loves to do this. They do the dump Friday afternoon, which is the slowest media day. And the numbers just came out for last month. 227,547. You know, they keep on using the word migrants. Illegal aliens, of course, you're right. That's the legal term. As a federal agent, before that, I worked with the United States courts. I had to write in the report to the U.S. District Judge illegal aliens. That is still, by the way, the official and term to use, but the Biden administration will not allow any government official to use that term right now, or write it down. 227,000. Total fiscal year, 2.3 million. That's a way, way low number. Let me tell you, you think it's 2.3 million? That's not true. It's close to 6 to 7 million people that have come in less than 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. So what's the problem here? Well, let me go back to national security, because that's the problem. It's the gotaways. So they're counting about 1 million gotaways. I think there's about 2 to 3 million gotaways. There's the gotaways that Border Patrol detects and sees on the cameras and the motion sensors that they weren't able to get to. And then there are the ones that no one saw. We have a huge problem of human smuggling right now. This is different than human trafficking. And I have a little pet peeve because my subject matter expertise is human trafficking. I rescued many women and children from most of the sex slave trade and some of the forced labor all over the country, especially for those coming from Mexico. And it's two separate crimes. Smuggling can become trafficking, of course. But we're seeing a lot of smuggling. Why? These people do not want to be detected. You can't come up to the Border Patrol right now and turn yourself in, and you would be admitted. Why wouldn't they allow themselves? Well, they're cartel members, they have criminal histories, they have other affiliations that they don't want us to know about. Some just don't want to be fingerprinted, period. They don't want to be identified, and they want to be lost in our country, and that's a very dangerous thing. So, this just hit literally on my phone right now, on Fox News. 807 deaths in this last fiscal year. And I want to follow up on what George said. Because the left says that an open border is a humane border. It is actually completely the opposite. An open border is an inhumane border. And I'm going to tell you because I've seen the deaths, and these numbers of 807 deaths is by drowning, by illegal aliens committing suicide, hanging themselves by trees when they're lost, deaths, rollovers when the human smuggling ventures and the GPS and the sheriffs chase them down and they get taken down. And they don't want to stop, roll over and get bodies and die. And a lot of people die in stash houses. You heard about the 53 in the back of the tractor trailer. This is what it is. It's inhumane. Listen, we all want a secure border. We want to control it. And what we have to do is look at the solution. And so I'm very solution-based. What are we going to do? Unfortunately, our governor hasn't declared the invasion yet. Everyone here is going to vote for Abbott, but what we're going to do, we're going to get Abbott in there, we're going to force them to declare the invasion. Arizona's going to do it first. We're working closely with them, and we're going to do it, and you're going to see what's going to happen. When the invasion is declared and the authority is taken by the state with the National Guard and the DPS, you're going to see what's happening, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on the state of Texas. And we're going to be there to do it. I'm here to help. I want to secure our country. And remember, a secure border saves lives. Thank you very much.
Everything that these speakers are touching on, like George and Sheena and Victor and Tracy, we're going to have you call into the program. This is being broadcast, by the way. That's why I'm holding my phone up, because it's feeding back to the radio station. So all the points that you're making, they're very valid, they're very important. So I sent you all the phone numbers. When we start our caravan, we're going to take turns calling in and elaborate and go into more detail. Even George, like I wanted to ask George about San Pedro, with the homeless shelter and all. These are stories that need to get out. So we're going to give you that opportunity on the radio station. So with that, without further ado, I'm going to bring up our last group before we start our caravan. Mr. Stephen Williford, you'll keep it to 5 minutes, and then you'll have some repeat time on the radio to go into the story. I'm sorry, y'all know Stephen Williford?
Hey, Texas! What an honor to be in the place where Come and Take It started.
That's right. Yeah.
I work for the GOA right now. I'm the national spokesperson for GOA. So I go around and have the opportunity and to talk to nationwide other states and tell them how great Texas is. And I always challenge them when it comes around to firearms laws and stuff, saying we are now, because of what GOA has done in Texas and what they've done, and I'll let Wes talk a little bit more about that. We are now the most 2A friendly state in the nation. Can we get a hand? Thank you. And I always tell them we have a saying in Texas, and that's come and take it. I challenge you to take that mantle from Texas.
Yeah.
But while they're trying to catch up, we're still pushing forward. Right now, I want to talk to you. I want to bring on somebody that is the conservative, I would say the conservative talk of San Antonio, but no, KTSA Radio is a fireball
And so I'll say South Central Texas.
That's right.
And one of the most conservative voices out there is Trey Ware, and he's here today. I would like to bring him up and say a few words.
Thank you, Stephen. I did not come here today with the intention of speaking. I came here today to stand for Texas and the United States of America. We are here today to say no to high taxes, no to high inflation, no to open borders.
Come on.
We are here to say no more fentanyl killing our children in America. We are here today to say yes to Jesus Christ and our Lord and Savior and God in our lives. We are here today to say yes to a free America, America that understands we will be free as men and women who stand against what's going on. We are no to transgenderism. Boys are boys, girls are girls, men are men, and women are women. We are here to say we believe in the entire expanse of what we say in Texas. Freedom reigns. No more cost to those of us who protect our children and our families. We are here to say we love God, we love freedom, and we love the United States of America. Thank you very much.
I have somebody that I have the absolute honor and privilege to introduce to you guys today, and I'm going to tell you, you need to know this man. This man is the new Texas director of GOA. GOA fought for 14 pro-gun bills, and I saw some of y'all at the Capitol when we were fighting for that. I saw some of you guys in the GOA room when we were fighting for that. Well, now, Wes Friedel, come on up, Wes. He is the new director of Texas. He's the man that's going to push the fight forward in Texas.
Well, it's kind of hard to come up after Trey Ware because he's so good at talking, so I'll do my best. But so right now we are in Gonzales, Texas. 187 years ago, we had 140 men roughly stood up to the Mexican government and said we're going to defend our freedom. You can't take our weapons from us. They put the flag up, come and take it. Here in Gonzales, my cousin joined the Immortal Rangers, the Immortal 32 Rangers. He rode with them to the Alamo, and he died in the Alamo, standing up for what Texas was meant to be and what Texas is. How many of you would agree that government becomes more tyrannical over time? How many of you would agree that our government is no longer representing our values?
Oh, that's for dang sure.
We are facing a tyrannical government. It is up to us to make that stand, just like my cousin did, just like a lot of your relatives did, and a lot of you are doing. One of our biggest things that we've been pushing for a long time was constitutional carry. That passed last session. That was gun owners in America and the legal family rights act. Now we're going to have anti-gunners foaming at the mouth, trying to take away our gun rights. They're going to be at the Capitol like crazy. But we are my job is right now going around the state asking everybody, please come to the Capitol and please help us get these bills, fight against the bad bills and help us work for the good bills. We have about 15 really good bills coming up right now. We really need help there. When we look at what's going on in this country, we are the people that can make the stand. A lot of people are saying, well, we're waiting for God to send the right person, right? You're the right person. That's what we are supposed to do, is stand up and fight. I'll try to keep it really short, so I'll end it up with this. But thank God that we have people who are willing to stand up. Thank you all for coming and being a part of this. We cannot change this country unless we actually do something. You know, wearing a patriotic shirt's nice, and having the idea of standing up is nice, but actually standing up is what we need. So thank y'all for coming out, and I hope to see you all at the Capitol.
First, I want to say How many people 10 years ago could have predicted and where we are today? How many would have predicted that a church was putting on a cross-dressing thing to raise money for children to have cross-gender clothing in Texas? How many people are mad about that? Thank you. But the battle goes on. How many people here 10 years ago could have foreseen Roe versus Wade overturned? God is good. God is working. God is on our side. We have a righteous fight. We've locked him out of our schools and out of our government for way too long. It's time to invite God back into our lives, into our government, in every aspect of everything you do. It's that time. It's that time to tell the politician that says, we're coming after your AR-15, it's time for us to say, hell no, you're not. Come and take it. Exactly. We're at the point where it is come and take it. And we are the greatest nation in this nation. Greatest state in this nation. We are the ones that will create the way. We are the ones that people are looking to. Texas leads. We don't follow anyone at this point. We have an obligation, not just to Texas, but to lead this country forward. Go to gunowners.org, sign up. What you get, I don't care, I want you to sign up as a member, but if you can't sign up as a member, sign up for the emails. So you get the email, you know what's happening. When Wes has something going on at the Capitol, you know about it. It gets emailed out to you. Go sign up, be a member, but if you can't be a member, at least get the emails. Go out there. People say, but I don't have a voice. That's because you're not speaking loud enough. It is up to everyone here to drag somebody else to the polls this time. And it's coming up, brothers. And you better get on board because we need, and you can't just think this red wave is going to happen and it doesn't need me. Wrong way of thinking. You can't think this candidate isn't exactly who I wanted, but that's a candidate you need to support right now. This red wave needs to happen. It absolutely has to happen to save our country. I don't know if you guys know what's going on in Ukraine, but what's happened in Ukraine was because of a weak government here in the United States. Because the United States leads this world. And who leads the United States? God. Texas does. I'm sorry. Texas leads this country, and God leads Texas.
There you go.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you guys do. Please get out there because I'm preaching right now. I'm preaching to the choir. But we got to bring in some more choir members. We're sounding a little weak. It's time to stand up. It's time to get to work. Thank you very much, and God bless.
We're almost there, folks. We got two more people I want you to hear from. I'm going to call up my friend Carrie Thibodeau. So back to the beginning. It was Stephen Williford's idea, pitched it to me. We tossed it around, and we said, yeah, we need to rally up the troops. I think we would have had more people had Donald Trump decided to have his rally today, guys, because I did have a lot of, regrets to say, sorry, we're going to go see Trump instead. But I appreciate you all being here. But anyway, so I called Carrie, and I said, Carrie, I need your help. I know you're a Gonzales gal. I need you to help me put this together, and she did. So she is with Save Texas Rally, so she's going to come up and say a few words to you guys.
There you go.
Wow, talk about having to get up after a bunch of good speakers. It's my first time, so I just want to say hello to everyone, and I want to thank you all for coming out to fight for your God-given freedoms. I try to put the Lord first in everything that I do, so first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to the Lord. So, hallelujah. I was very nervous about giving this speech today, but I thought, well, how hard can it be? Biden does it. I just could use the teleprompter, or better yet, an earpiece and someone was telling me what to say. Thank you.
There you go.
And I'm going to say I'm not a politician, so it might sound like I'm reading my speech because I am. Okay. I'm Carrie Thibodeau from Save Texas Rally, and today I want to inspire and encourage you all to make a difference. Here is a quick testimony. God told me to take a stand for the children, and so immediately I decided to go to the state capitol and start preparing. God put together an amazing team with all the talents we needed and prepared the way. Many good things came from that day, the birth of Save Texas Rally, the salvation of souls, and many more. All who came today are individuals, but together we are a team. We, the people. As some may know, we have a new mayor in Smiley, Texas. In a short time she has been in office, we have seen many changes for the good in our town. Including recently, we became debt-free. The town is getting better. Woo! She won that election by one vote. Wow. Yeah, for a big count, she still won by one vote. This is a testimony to us that the one vote does count. One vote does matter. So when you hear that little voice in your head that tells you, oh, it won't make a difference, you can just stay home or skip it. Instead, grab your friends, your family, your coworkers, whoever you can, make a day of it and get to the polls. Make yourself heard for our children's sake. Human trafficking, wide open borders, gender modification, election integrity, critical race theory, and so many more issues in the fight. We need everyone. Most importantly, pray and ask the Lord, what can I do? You can get involved. You can sign up at SaveTexasRally.com, get informed of upcoming events, get behind the people who are making a difference. Support local grassroots with priorities that you care about. Become a partner. Together, we will save Texas through prayer, action, and assembly. We will make a difference. God bless everyone, and thank you. And we will be having more rallies.
Most definitely, most definitely. Okay, we're almost to the end, folks. So, I don't even know if I introduced myself when I got up here on the stage, because like I said, I had to improvise because it was Mr. David Michael Phillip with Noble Radio Network that was supposed to be up here doing all this. He had vehicle trouble, he broke down, and we had to help him out, and so he didn't make it. So he, put it into the forefront. Organization called the America Project. We have a state chapter here in Texas called Texas for America First. We pool our resources with Siri and Noble Radio Network, Gun Owners of America. And we wanted to have this fabulous rally for you guys. Yeah, exactly. And the premise of it is we want to push the America First issues, the America First policies, because we're not going to get up here and tell you who to vote for or what political party to support. That's just understood. I'm not going to have to say it up here. We have a state to save. I can't reiterate that enough. We have a state to save. As Texas goes the nation. Hence, we have a country to save. And so, this is why we did this rally. I want to encourage you. The main work that I do right now with America Project is promoting election integrity. We all deserve free, fair, and honest elections. If we don't have that, it's not the people's voice that's being represented. And that's what we have to reinstate. We have to restore integrity to our election process. So I'm going to bring up this next gentleman, our last speaker. He's our national director with the America Project. Formerly worked on somebody's campaign, the guy that decided to show up in Robstown back in the 2016 campaign. But I'm going to let him tell you all about that. But this guy, I call him my boss, is Mr. Mark Lloyd. He's from Virginia, but he's a Texas boy originally. He's one of our national election integrity directors with the America Project. Mark, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Maria.
You got one more speaker.
Thank y'all for coming.
Maria?
And I do want to go ahead and express my Texas credentials. Yes, I live in Virginia now. I left Texas, joined the Navy, and if you join the Navy, you wind up in Virginia. So, I was canceled years ago. I got started with the Tea Party movement up there. I started a little Tea Party in Virginia. We got some national acclaim, and then they went after me for 5 years of taxes. But anyway, that was early on. And this isn't about me, but everybody's got a story about how they get involved in politics. I got involved when my son, who was in Iraq, with an Iraqi infantry unit. The kid can barely speak English, but he speaks 4 other languages. He called me in November of 2008. You remember what happened then?
Mm-hmm.
Obama got elected.
Yep.
And my son's career army, he'll retire before I do. And he said, Dad, I'm getting out. I said, well, why? He said, this guy's going to get us all killed. He said, I said, well, how do you know that? I mean, obviously, bad news. He said because it was announced that he was elected, the wrong people came out and started celebrating. If you ever had a kid in harm's way, and you get that football, that does something. So that's okay too, but we went to work with and entered into Trump world. And after he won in 2016, I was honored to get a presidential appointment. I went to USAID. I was senior advisor for international freedom. And when the president-resident took the resident and started in the White House, of course, I lost my job. This is Virginia. To work with Trump, they said, we got to win Virginia. So we literally put together the Virginia month. 2021, nobody thought we could do it. We turned Virginia purple. And I'm saying all this because you know what? The Republican Party, we told them what we were doing, and you know what we got from them? The finger. Leave us alone. You people are all nuts. But we managed to put together a coalition of activists just like you. And we went to work. We literally trained 4,000 poll watchers for the thing in Virginia. When I was running the campaign there, we managed to cover 28 reviews. If they came in and saved us, we got across the finish line. At the end of that, we could score a victory. We had one in the win column. So they said, get back. I said, well, Mark, can you do that another day? Give me enough money, we'd sure try. So we did. We kicked off the project with only 6 states. The original 6 states were Georgia, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona. And we found folks that were doing great stuff. We're trying to put it together. It's going on right now. But then they came back and said, well, could we add a couple more states? And it was like, well, okay. We added Florida, and we added Texas. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to brag a little bit about that lady right there. In Texas, I understand Texas. These other guys, one was from New Hampshire, one was from Rhode Island. They had no clue. That's their little heart. So they said, well, can we go to Texas? Can we do the same thing? I said, guys, Texas is a whole other country. I said, you're not going to do it the same way.
Right.
So I said, well, look, let's go to Texas, let's find out where the bad stuff is. So we knew that Harris County's full of convicts. You know, Harris County's full of convicts. That whole Austin area, we don't have to talk about that. So we figured, well, if we're going to play anywhere,
Texas, that's where we play. So I went on the hunt to find somebody that could represent the state of Texas and put this together. And I found that lady right there, Maria Miller. All of y'all clap for her all the time. Because her charter in Texas, and this might even talk more about Texas, is that we're going to work in these few counties. Maria, how many counties are we actually in now? 30. We went from just a few to we're in 30 counties across the state. Okay, and it's because of her and the team she put together. But we're active now, believe it or not, in the 9th state that they came on board with, and they said, Mark, you're doing pretty good in these other states. Do Illinois. And I said, well, Illinois is going to be a special case because all these other states have denied that they're being voter fraud. Hell, in Illinois, they brag about it. So we've got teams going there too. Guys, thank you for what you're doing. Y'all support her and these efforts and all of these great groups that brought this coalition together. I'm telling folks, and I have the privilege of driving around the country to do this, you're not here by accident. And I want to bounce off of what these other gentlemen, these ladies said. God put you here. He put you here. He put you here now. And he put you here for a reason. You know what the reason is. Now, and I want to bounce off what this gentleman from Gonzales, America said. We're going to get in a few minutes, we're going to start driving around town, waving our flags, honking our horns, hooting and hollering and waving at people. And that is not going to move the needle in the election. It's going to be fun for us. Your job is to get out there, find other people that are like-minded. And I'm going to break some news to you and then I'll shut up. There's a group of people out there, we call them low propensity voters. You get in their unicorns, you don't think they actually exist. Because I know you've come to this gathering because you think about politics all the time. You old gray-headed guys, I see you get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and I know you're doing it, but I'm doing it too. It's dark, it's quiet, and you go in that bathroom, and what do you think it's politics. These other people that are out there, there's people that do live out there, they don't think about politics at all. They're going to wake up someday and realize the country's gone. Your job right now is to reach out to them, wake them up, get their butts to the polls, because they really do, even though they don't think politics, they do share your values. They don't believe little boys or little girls. They don't believe that black folks and white folks and brown folks, that we can't get along. They don't believe that because all their friends are diverse. It's out there. But it's up to you to reach out there and grab them, pull them in, get them to the polls, do what you got to do to make that happen. Yes, Texas does need this country. It's really pretty obvious. I've heard it said before, the United States needs Texas. Texas doesn't particularly need the United States. And everybody else says, well, you're a member of the Union. Yeah, but the rest of y'all petitions are going, we wouldn't fight you. So, guys, yeah, my Texas credentials now will go William Harrison, Oklahoma side. He was the commander of the Tennessee Volunteers. That's fine. There you go. I didn't get anybody, I just got the look. So, guys, thank you. Get out there and do it. I appreciate all that you're doing. Just do more. God bless the United States. God bless Texas.
We have another speaker, Brandon Burkhart, the Texas Supreme Court. Come on up, Brandon. Woo!
Y'all sound like a bunch of new workers. I said, how's it going? All right. Front row. Y'all better get fired up. For those that don't know me, my name is Brandon Burkhart. I'm from this is Texas Supreme Court. by our 3.5-year fight to save the Alamo Cenotaph that sits out in front of the Alamo, the empty tomb of our Alamo defenders. And others may recognize us by the 150 armed men that we stood out there against 5,000 BLM riders and looters that threatened to burn the Alamo to the ground, and we said not on our watch. We've been protecting monuments for quite some time, for about 5 years, and I'm going to be very blunt. I'm a Texan, I'm an apologetic Texan. I'm sorry, I don't care what goes on in the United States. I care what happens here in this state right here. If we take care of our home, the rest of it will take care of itself. We got to take care of it first. We get the government interference with your day-to-day life, or from your local level. Then Biden does it, How many of y'all know by a show of raising hands that the Alamo Cenotaph was vandalized? There's a guy named Gonzales that came through and spray painted a bunch of this stuff onto the Alamo Cenotaph. We followed it this year about 3 months ago. He got off with a slap on the wrist. The liberal DA that was there decided that they weren't really going to give him any kind of punishment, so he got probably packing his bags, getting ready to head back to Florida where he belongs. The Democrat challenger that's running for the PLO, they didn't say a word about it, but that's par for the course for Democrats. Republican, Buckingham, she claims she's a big proponent of the Cenotaph. Even said she's going to chain herself to it when they were talking about moving, which we all called was bull. She didn't say a word about it either. For somebody that cares that much about the Alamo, she didn't say a word about it. Vandalized the second time in 2 years. That really upsets us. He started thinking about it because Abbott's up there, they're not passing the monument protection bill. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick's doing the same thing. And it is really frustrating to us because our historical monuments are losing federal army rates. We're here right now, but since the last legislative session, we've lost 3 monuments in Texas. We lost 300 historical bricks in Georgetown that sat outside of the courthouse with the names of U.S. veterans and Confederate veterans on it. And then, of course, the Cenotaph itself. So whenever the last time that the Cenotaph was hit, our first question was, did the camera that you installed on the north side of the Alamo Cenotaph catch the guy this time? Because last time they didn't. Thank God the guy went and vandalized other parts of downtown, and traffic cameras were able to identify him. Noah Escamilla is the guy's name. They didn't put a camera up. So this is Texas Freedom Force. We went down and we addressed the city council. We told them we want a damn camera up there now because this is the second time in 2 years we're tired of it. Guess what's in the north side of the Alamo Cenotaph today? There's a camera sitting there. Not only that, state-of-the-art camera that the FBI uses to identify it. So that's a win. They weren't having any of the Alamo Rangers or San Antonio Police Department making rounds around the Cenotaph once per hour. So for 50 minutes an hour, you could go out there and vandalize. And even worse, we stuck guys out there for 2 or 3 nights to see how long we could go without seeing a cop's presence. There were some nights we went 3 or 4 hours before seeing them. So right now, we've met with the Alamo CEO as well as the San Antonio City Council, Liberal Council. Charge him. I will charge him to the full extent of the law. If I cannot charge him, I'm going to come back to you, Brandon, and say, this is why we couldn't charge him, X, Y, Z. He said, I will make sure I'm fair. And that's all we can ask for with somebody that's fair. So the last thing I'll close with is, I know you're all ready to get out of here. Our monument protection bill, we run it for 3 years. Basically, it's real simple. Any monument 40 years old and older can no longer be removed by the council. Not even city council, nobody.
That's right.
Monuments that are 20 years old to 40 years old can only be moved by a vote of the entire state of Texas. No more of this, a liberal district getting rid of a Confederate monument because they're in a liberal city. None of that. Texas will vote on that.
Right.
And then, of course, anything under 20 years is not considered a historical monument by us, and city councils, county commissioners, courts, and senators can deal with that. So, Senator Creighton is pressing our bill, and this will be the 4th legislative session we pushed it. It's not a priority on the Republicans' list. So we've got our work cut out for us. So all I ask for is that when you do contact your state representatives,
Contact your senators, please ask them to support the Monument Protection Bill. And if you feel like you want to help us out, we have t-shirts for sale. We have donations at txfreedomforce.org. We have cards. Ramon, raise your hand so they see. Our vice president here has a card. It's not cheap going up there. Last legislative session, we spent 1,047 hours between the organization at the Capitol for the session. We aim to beat that this time. Aim to come home with a money.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, that officially ends our speaker program, but hold on just a second. I got to give a little disclaimer here, because we are a nonpartisan group, so I have to put that out there, in case there's any, haters or little trolls out there. But we have a very special guest here that's going to say a few words to the crowd before we start our caravan. Everybody's joined the caravan is already facing in the direction that we're going to exit. So I want to throw that in there. As soon as he's done speaking, we're going to go ahead and get in our vehicles. We're going to start our caravan. I'm going to call up on the stage Mr. Ken Morrow. He wants to say a few words to you guys. He's running for State Board of Education, place 3. All right, 3, right.
Thank you. In 60 seconds or less, the State Board of Education picks the curriculum in the school books for the students here. We are a huge buyer of school books, so what we do affects the rest of the nation, as everybody else has echoed here today. I don't want any CRT, I want it all out. I want boys to be boys and girls to be girls. I've actually had some deep thoughts, and I want you guys to think about it.
And that love the Lord, and that we can pray together and be united in that prayer. Lord, we just come to you and we thank you for everyone that's here. We ask that you lead, guide, and direct them by your Holy Spirit, and that when they go down the road, that they are praying and taking authority over the areas that they're going to, and they're speaking your will